housekeeping. Let's keep doing it. What the?
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
I'm gonna stop reading this for a bit. Because it's just repeating. Question.
But,
do you enjoy
of course,
this?
it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
What? The question. What?
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move.
Wait, did the game close for you or something? No. Okay. Items you love at members only prices. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to be perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends and people in your life to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself? It's going by too fast. 3. Subtitles exist for a reason.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts. And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
2. I don't think any of them are working. Anyway, Big Sis, what do you want to say? 1, 2 to 3. 3. 2. 1, 2 to 3. I'm just gonna hit 3.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable
1, 2, or 3
that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
These doors are actual doors, not just PNGs of doors. Like in some games I see. Damn you. One, two, or three, big sis. Do it again. One, two, or three. Two. These cones that bounce when you touch them, or represent the people nearby. One, two, or three. Aww. Oh, hey, look. The lantern. Light.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution, social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Morbus tip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Do you want me to keep my eyes closed, big sis? Alright.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
1, 2, or 3, big sis. I'm gonna wait for the next time. One, 2, or 3 preemptively. Three. Actually. One. Three. The only way to stop it is to speak honestly. 1, 2, or 3. Ah. One. No way to stop it is to speak honest. 1, 2, or 3, big sis. 2. Any more?
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a
1,
lot
2, or
more
3.
distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
1, 2, to 3.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
You see what I mean when I said it's a long one? One, 2, or 3. E. Same. Twee?
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash. Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
What do you think, Big Sis? 1, 2, or 3? 2?
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
One, 2, or 3? One, 2, 3.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything.
1, 2,
It never
3.
felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
We'll continue at a later date. Let's see. Yep, that works. No, it's just getting late.